Hi, my name is Andrew Pommert, and I'm a graduate of IWS. I graduated in 2014, and I became very interested in the material and the studies at IWS a few years ago. I've been a worship leader for about 15 years, and there came a point in my development where I just wanted to go deeper and richer in traditions of worship and just also personally. And so IWS was able to help me do that. One of the ways that I've been able to do that at my church back in Joplin is to take the contemporary worship that we already have and try to combine that with historical elements of worship. And one of the things that I've done is taken contemporary music and used it as a response to some psalm settings. So, for example, one of the things that I learned at the school was chanting, and so we would take some chants, and I would pair it with a contemporary worship chorus, and we would use that kind of as a response. I think people were very interested. People were asking me, how did where did this come from? Because most people aren't familiar with that kind of worship. And I actually wasn't before I came to the school. I think people responded very well to it, and maybe just kind of surprised at the same time. One of the things that I did in addition to the contemporary psalm worship was to add an Ash Wednesday service, and I've gotten the most response from that actually at my church, even more than the contemporary psalm worship. And what we did was, again, I come from a free church background, an independent Christian church background that uses contemporary worship, and so I use that as the platform. I use those sounds, electric guitars, kind of the rock and roll band sound, but used the elements of what Ash Wednesday is all about to try to get people to understand the richness and the history of that worship service. Another service that we've also added is the Good Friday service, where we do Stations of the Cross. And I've got a lot of great reception from that also at my church. I think one of the reasons people respond well to these things that I've done are because I've done things very slowly at my church. You always need to be thinking pastorally about how you're going to incorporate anything. But then also, something that I learned from one of my professors at IWS was to make things fun and feasible. People need a way to kind of understand it. And so without getting rid of the richness of the history, they need a language, they need a context to understand some of these things. More recently, what I've also done this last year is to create a daily office CD, and that's composed of contemporary worship songs, but uses prayers and reading of psalms and kind of setting your mind like the daily office would, morning, midday, and evening. But I've used contemporary worship songs by like Chris Tomlin, Matt Redman, to try to incorporate this idea of the daily office, and that was well received at my church. I gave that CD away for free because I couldn't charge any money by using everybody else's music, but I can give it away as a gift, and so I gave it away as a gift to my church, and people loved it. So it was great.